And we're live. Wow. Hopefully, we actually get this to work this time. I do apologize. Last week, we tried to do a live event and we were going to talk about rules and styles. And I'm going to apologize for 1 second. Be right back. Oh, oh, the joys of doing things live. So, again, I apologize. We have been having some trouble trying to get this going, but I think we are working through those issues, and this will be our very first educational live event. I just had to turn the volume down on that computer back there because that was going to be my indication if this is going well. And sounds like I can hear it, and hopefully you guys can see me. So let's dive in with the screen share. That was another interesting event. Let's go like this. Hopefully you guys can see the right screen, and you're looking at RADAN at the moment. So like I said, this is a weekly event. We're going to try to do these at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays Central Time. I know if you're watching this right now, it isn't because we just finished recording and it only lasted for 2 seconds. So hopefully we're beyond that this time. Everything on my end, it looks like it is. Let's just confirm one thing here. I really hope it is. I mean, sorry guys. Please be patient. There's no real way of confirming that it's actually going. There is there. Right? Okay. I think it's working. Ah, someone left the chat, so this is fun. Can you still can you still hear and see me? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. I hopefully this is informational. And I think now that we work through all of these things, next week's it'll be much smoother. So for those of you who watch this in the future, apologize for the 3 minutes of nonsense, but let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about what we're here today to do, and that is talking about Radan and how rules and styles works. Like I mentioned, this is going to be a series. We're going to stretch this out over probably 3 or 4 episodes, and then after this one, we're going to talk about order, automatic order. That's all another sticky subject sometimes when people are trying to work these things through. So if you're new to Radan or if you just need to have a quick refresh, this you're in the right place. So let's get to it. I'm going to switch here to profiling. Then I'm going to click on settings. And that should pop up this box here. What I want to draw our attention to at the very first is that we're going to be looking at mild steel 060 with nitrogen. Now, this is important because this drills down into the manufacturing database where all this stuff is saved. Everything that's in this window, all the edits and changes that we make, we can come over here to the settings B, save that to our manufacturing database for this material. Now that's important because when we click on the next thing, you'll see I'm going to show you how you'll notice if that's incorrect, if you're used to working with strategies. Now, some posts, if you don't, I'm on a Mazak today. So if you have an older machine or older post that may not need the use of strategies, it may be a little bit different. All you may have is just mild steel or material type and thickness. Okay. If I was to change this and I'm going to remove my notification of the gas, right? I'm going to select none. I'm going to click OK and OK again. Now in my rules and styles, notice my page changes quite a bit. Okay, so if you come into this and edit some stuff and you're like, wow, this looks weird, that would be probably your first indication that, okay, let's go back and look. Yep, I don't have a strategy. If you're using strategies, keep that in mind as well. So we're going to switch back to nitrogen. That's our default for this material. And then we're going to jump into rules and styles. This is like a hyperlink. When you click on edit, it jumps you to the page where the rules and styles kind of are meant to be controlled. And we jump to small profiles because that's what it was selected for. Okay, once you're in this, you can kind of maneuver around and work on any of the rules or styles that you have. Okay, this again, like I mentioned, this is straight out of the Mazak handbook. If we installed a post, this is going to look exactly like how it would look for you. But I'm going to go ahead and just apply. Okay, so we've got some tooling here in the background. If we kind of zoom in on all of our holes, they're all in the same direction, all approximately the same length. Okay, now the reason why I wanted to do that first is because when Mazak sets this up, they set it up that everything is just done with large. Okay, so basically 0 to everything is done with the high speed, fast cutting. We can control that by examining the features that you may have on your part, right? So we're going to do that today. We're going to say things that are up to quarter inch, I want to be done with my slow condition. So here's the conditions that you can choose. Now, if you aren't familiar with what conditions do, conditions are a way that we can control the machine. If there's different cutting conditions that reside out on the controller, we can call them up and say, okay, this particular feature I want to do fast, this one I want to do slow, maybe you want to do some etching, maybe other options that you may have. All are controlled by, in our case, color is or the use of what we're doing here by feature size. Let's say my mediums, I want to go up to 1/2 inch. Now notice I'm not entering in a bottom value. The reason why I'm not doing that is because this list works from the top to the bottom. So it's examining all the features on my part up to quarter inch. If they are a quarter or less, they're going to get my slow speed condition. Once all those are done, well, now it's still scanning, and features that are 0 to 1/2 will get medium, but everything from 0 to quarter's already been done from my small profile. So quarter to 1/2 would get medium. And basically 1/2 to everything else is going to get the high speed condition. Hopefully that kind of makes some sense. Now, the connection that we have to the style. Now, the style is what we're doing with it's controlling the type, it's controlling the location, and the actual approach to the feature. So we have two rules that are connected to the styles. Okay. We've got a lead in with the edge and a lead into our corner. And we'll kind of walk through how those are. Before I make any changes to this, we'll just kind of explain what all is happening over here. Okay. So we've got, I just lose my share. I hope not. Well, I'll ask the guy, maybe he's still online. Can you still see my screen? Hmm. Share is gone. Okay, let me stop sharing and try to reshare. That's interesting. Well, that sucks, actually. Hopefully, you can still hear me. All right. Are we back? Yes. Okay. We'll keep our eye on that. Thank you guys for so much for notifying me when things go awry. That is very helpful. Okay, we were talking about explaining this section here. Okay, so there's three types. There's normal, tangent, and bisect. So normal is basically going to be like if it's coming into the outside angle, like we'll just use this box here. So it's coming in straight and then it'll go, or tangent's going to come straight and just keep going straight. Bisect is going to come at, a degree, typically it's going to be 45 degrees to the corner point. If we're doing corner, okay, sorry, I should have explained that first. Edge, we have the ability to do any edge, or we can select, you know, a particular direction. So if we pick that and we say, sure, if we apply, notice all of our lead ins go to the top. Okay. We'll talk about corner again, but it just kind of repeats. So we've got three types. We've got a way to control placement, and now we've also have a way to develop the approach. Okay, so we've got a straight, a double straight, an arc and straight, and none. So the easiest one to show, if we just go to none and then we click apply again, look, we have no lead-ins. And maybe that's a method if you have really, really thin material and you just need it to get cutting. I would say it's probably pretty uncommon. So we're going to work with just our straight types here for a second. And we've got a lead in length of zero point 0.1. I'm going to change that to a massive lead in to 0.5 and just watch what happens to our approaches, right? All of our lead in lengths are the maxed out that they can be. Now, RADAN has a default mechanism built in that internal features can only go to the center point of that internal feature. So if this was a square, same thing would happen, right? If it was a half-inch square, the biggest lead-in we could get was quarter. Now these, if we go and look at them, this one we got a 3/16 lead-in, so we must have a 3/8 hole. Okay, so knowing that, if we come in here and we say, okay, maybe if we go really small, you have a 16th, right? So now we're going to get that if it fits. So both of these should be a 0.06. So if I measure that again, we'll go to the small one this time. We got 0.06. We'll go to the big one, 0.06. So if it has the room to make it fit, you'll get your desired length. If it's too large and that safety mechanism pulls in, you're just going to get what will fit coming back to that center point. So if we switch to double straight, so this works like a countdown. So I'll keep my tiny little lead in as my approach coming up to my part, and then maybe we'll have another, maybe a little longer lead in coming to it. And I'm also going to have that come in at an angle just so we can see the difference. And then the last thing is I'm going to have it be a different condition. So in here we're cutting with condition our fast and our slow and our medium condition. Here, I'm gonna just push everything to be high just so we can see what will happen. This is probably not what you do in real life, but just to see the different colors. So now if we zoom in even a little bit closer, we'll notice that we've got, it's piercing, coming in at an angle, changing to condition 3. Now the whole reason for lead-ins is to establish a good cut prior to it getting to the actual feature that we want cut. So this gives us a little bit of extra length, whatever condition we chose, or maybe it's the same, but I just did it so we could see be different colors into the part itself. We'll edit that once more, and maybe this time we'll just make it all the same. So we should see greens and reds and solids. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, I didn't explain what's happening here as far as the degrees that well, but when we switch to arcs, this column now changes from angle to degrees. So with an arc, we've got a zero point 0.1 lead in coming in at 57 degrees. We'll apply this and see what we actually get. So it didn't fit on this one for maybe a couple of reasons. Maybe our lead in length is too long, or maybe our angle or our degrees aren't enough. We can only come back to 180. So we can make a semicircle. We'll edit this again. We'll come back to 180. I think we should have enough room at a 0.1, should be able to fit inside this completely. So there, we can only do a 180 all the way back. So there again, we didn't get it here. I think it's because the size is too big for our angle return. So let's go, we're gonna go 30. I don't think that's true. I think it's this. Our arc is too large for our feature size because arc would be a 0.2. Our hole isn't 0.2 big. I think it's a 3/16 hole. So let's make our arc back at a 16th, and we'll arc it back 60 degrees. It should work on both, and it does. Okay, so that's kind of how we would work with arcs. And then the last one is an arc with a straight tail. Okay, so we'll just apply this and see if we have room for that. So we've got the tail coming into an arc into our feature. And that's kind of how we would set that up. Now, One thing that I want to kind of close with, and we're kind of just keeping this kind of a fluid thing. There's so many things we can talk about in auto tooling, but I kind of just wanted to just highlight today rules and styles. Once we've kind of set that this is what we want to have, right? Then we need to go in here to save our settings to the manufacturing database. Let's say we've come in here and we've made a mess of it, right? We just everything that we've done, um, we lost control of how to get it back, right? We made too many edits. We don't remember all the edits we made, but it's not working. So if we come in here to do, instead of saving it to the manufacturing database, we can read it from the manufacturing database if it existed before. So I'm just gonna, that's what I'll do. I'll say reset basically. Now we come in here to edits and we've lost basically all the edits that we've done. So notice now it's all back to 0.001. None of the cool stuff that we did down here, it's all gone. It's reset. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And if we reapply, we get them all coming from the side again. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. Next week, we're going to tackle why we're getting tabs and tabs here. That'd be one of the things that we address, as well as pens. So next week is going to be an exciting adventure again, talking about, instead of just examining it by feature size, we've seen color we're forcing, but if we have color on our parts, that'll do something different than what we can force it with. And tabs, tags, micro joints, etc. So join us next time, hopefully at our regularly scheduled time, Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. And we'll see you guys next time. This has been Mike with Radan. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this and found it informational. If you like what you see, maybe think about subscribing. We got lots of stuff coming. We're always adding new things. See you guys next time.